Well, as you know, we took a few days off as a team, coaches and players, and brought the team back on Saturday night and had meetings and practice on Sunday, and then today's their day off, and we'll be back at it on a Tuesday. And so everybody's spirits are high and exciting. We had a good practice on Sunday afternoon. So we're excited about the game. I know everybody else is. It's a great week for the state of Oklahoma, and our players will be looking forward to playing in the game on Saturday night. I think our challenge now is just to keep everybody kind of calm and under control, coaches including. Everybody's excited about the upcoming game, so that's kind of our goal from this point forward.
What coaches do you need to keep under control?
Well, I'm pretty excited about the game. And all of them. I think that not anything to be alarmed about. I just think everybody's excited to get back on the field and play. And as we all know, it's been, what would be 10 days or so that we've played in a game. And the one thing we like to do is to coach and play in games. So there's just some excitement there to get back out on the field.
Where does this game rank as far as biggest game in school history?
Oh, I don't know. I say this all the time. They're all big because if you don't win enough of them, then the ones in the end don't matter. But, for the first time in this program's history, and I'll just say I'll go back 50 years, maybe further, they have a chance to win a conference championship. And so it's a big game for that reason. It's something that's not ever been accomplished here. And the players are aware of that, and the coaches are aware of that. So it would be nice for our team to go out and play well and win the football game to be able to accomplish something that's never been done here in football.
Mike, as you head into this week, how physically are you guys? Harrison's been out a couple weeks. Do you think most of your guys will be ready to go on Saturday?
Yeah, I would expect everybody to be able to play on Saturday night.
Mike, a lot of times in the past, in this game, it wasn't the coach's perception, but the fan perception might have been Oklahoma is guts and goals, and Oklahoma State is a spoiler. Can you talk about how that's kind of flipped and the culture has changed?
Oh, it's interesting how college football's changed over the last few years. I don't think that anybody, I don't know that there's a perception out there that it's actually that we've earned the right to be a spoiler. And I've said this for the last few years. I said it in August and throughout the season that in order for us to win a Big 12 championship, we had to go through Austin and Norman. And I don't think that changes until a team accomplishes that goal. And that's just the facts. Basically just stating the facts. So I think that, I know as a staff and as a team that we'll approach this game like any other, but with an opportunity to accomplish something that's never been done here, which is to win a championship.
How tough is that? You're talking about go through Austin, go through Norman. How tough is it to enter that club?
Well, there's not been anybody else do it in our league. And again, I recruit against Oklahoma, we compete against Oklahoma, and I recruit against Texas and compete against Texas. But we can only state the facts, is that this conference has been dominated by those two schools. And so until somebody goes through Oklahoma and Texas and wins the conference championship, I don't think anybody has the right to say that they've gotten to that level. I did mention to the team, and I've probably said this to you guys, I don't know that anybody's been as close as we have in the last 3 or 4 years, even dating back to when we lost in Texas 28-24 when they were number 1 in the country. So we're right there. We just have to prepare well, go out and play hard, and let the chips fall where they are, where they'll be.
Justin said he'd be honored as a senior night. Can you kind of explain your reasoning behind that?
Well, there's a good chance that Justin's going to be playing professional football next year, and I feel like that he's earned the right to walk on that field with his mother and father. And when we have a player that's in his situation, we felt like it was the right thing to do. Obviously, it's not like applying for the draft, and I said this a month ago. I hope he comes back, and we'll save a scholarship for him. but chances are that he's going to move on and play professional football, and so I would hate for him to leave here without being able to walk across that field with his family one last time.
Do you think a team should win its conference championship to be the BCS title?
You know, that's a hard question. Without talking around it, Dave, I'll say that, and you guys have heard me say this now for 2 years, it's extremely difficult to win all your games. And I think there can be a really good football team lose a game and still in the end may be the best football team in the country. We saw LSU lose 2 games a few years ago and win a national championship. Now, I think that's rare. I think that's, you know, I don't even know how that happened. I didn't pay that close enough attention to it. But I don't know that I have the answer to that. There's obviously some very, very good teams in a couple leagues that people feel like should have the right to play for the championship. So, you know, unfortunately, I don't have to make that decision. I think we're under contract with the BCS for maybe 3 more years. You know, Kevin? Something like that. And so we've all signed up and we said we were going to agree to it. So I guess we'll have to follow those guidelines until that contract expires.
It seemed it had to be a bit frustrating if you win Saturday and you see Alabama playing the title game. They didn't win their conference. They lost at home to the team that played.
Right. Yeah. And again, I don't disagree with you. You know, you're getting into the question comes up about politicking for your team, and I'm not comfortable in doing that. I think with where we're at with Oklahoma State football right now and what these players have accomplished, that it's more important for our staff and our players to concentrate on preparing for the game and try to play the best we can and beat Oklahoma and win a conference championship and then move forward from that point.
Coach, your computer rankings helped you all season in the BCS standings and why it's been so high, but the coaches polls kind of what's holding you guys back in 5th right now. And out of the top 5 teams, you're the only one without a vote. Do you feel like that's a disadvantage for you and your squad?
In what way?
Like you're the only you're not able to vote for your team while the other guys can adjust the polls the way they want to. Do you feel like that's a disadvantage that you're the only one in the top 5 that can't have a say about his team?
You mean me?
Yeah.
I'd have to think about that. I didn't know that till you brought it up. Do they release those votes?
The final standings will be released, but their final poll will be released.
Yeah. I did vote on that one year. Maybe it was USA Today I voted on. I think it was USA Today that I voted on. And I would not have voted us any higher than the teams that's up there right now. And so, again, we can talk about this forever, but we need to try to win every football game we can. And then at some point the computer or other people will vote however they feel that your team has played and where they should be. And then I think as a team, we have to live with that and then move forward.
Mike, you say you're not comfortable politicking, probably not comfortable, kicking a 50-yard field goal into the wind, but sometimes you have to do it.
Right.
Don't you feel like
I'm not saying.
It's going to be too late to politic.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but I mentioned this a week or two ago that Kevin and Gavin keep me informed on kind of what they think's best. I don't spend much time thinking about it, and so if somebody made me do it, I would probably say something. I would do it uncomfortably, but I wouldn't mention it until after the game, and like you said, at that time it may be too late. I just think we need to prepare and do the best we can to win this game and then move forward from that point on.
For instance, there are coaches who would, if they were in your shoes, they would start talking about how the circumstances by which you lost Iowa State, the plane crash. That entered your mind. You need to remind people the circumstances by which you lost at Iowa State.
I'm just not comfortable with that, Barry. Again, if they were to come to me and say that, their athletic director or the president would say, you owe it to your team or we need to do this, then I would think about it, and then we would try to come to an agreement. But I'm just not comfortable. That's not my background. It's not my personality. I would just rather prepare for the next game and try to get the guys to go out there and play as hard as possible and eliminate turnovers and miss assignments and let them have fun.
Did you say you'd vote for the teams that are above you right now?
Right now, I would vote for LSU. I mean, I don't think there's any question. Which I mean, that's not a debate. You asked about you asked about Alabama, and I would if somebody set me down and said you had to make a decision. With where we're at right now, Alabama lost to what would be the number one team in the country, and Oklahoma State lost to Iowa State. So, in our situation, if I was doing it, fair, I don't know how I could put us in front of them right now.
Well, remember though, Mike, in the coaches poll, there's two other teams ahead of you guys also,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Tech and Stanford.
Yeah, and see, I haven't even watched them. I mean, I see a little bit of Alabama, and I followed a little bit, but I mean, I would have to really sit down, look at what's happened, look at the teams, and try to make that decision. And fortunately, I don't have to do that.
Just for the record, politicking is one thing. Saying you put Alabama ahead of you is sort of anti-politicking.
Yeah.
That seems
Well,
counterproductive.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying right now, you asked me about today, and we have a loss and they have a loss, and they lost to the number one team in the country.
At home.
And right, and so I love that you guys are fighting for Oklahoma State, and I'm fighting for Oklahoma State, and I'm fighting for our team. But the message that I've given them is, I want them to practice well this week, and I want them to go out and play hard and do everything they can to win a game. But I just don't, again, I don't vote, but I don't know how all of a sudden you just say that there's 2 one-loss teams, and one lost to a team that was number one in the country, and one lost to a team that was unranked, and other circumstances may factor in, but that's just my personal opinion. I like our football team, and I said this a month ago. I think on any given day, on any site in the country, that we can play with anybody in the country. I don't doubt that for 1 second.
You think it's a bit strange they're saying now not only do you have to win, you have to blow them out?
Well, I didn't know. I hadn't heard all that. Of course, I'm not in tune with what's going on out there, but I guess I'm trying to not let that affect our team and our staff. For us right now, we need to prepare to win this game. And if we win this game and we play well, and somebody thinks that it's enough to put us in a position to play for that, nobody will be more fired up than I will about it, and excited for our players. I'm just trying to answer the question the best that I can with where we're at right now.
Coach, I apologize if you've already touched on this, but with all the emotional elements coming into Saturday night, the rivalry, the Big 12 championship on the line, senior night, what do you expect it to feel like down there, and did you approach it any differently considering there's all those variables?
No, we won't approach it any differently, and it won't feel any different than it did last year. We were in the same situation last year, and so our players have been in that environment, and the preparation this week should be the same. There's a lot of excitement in the state for the game. We don't have professional football here, and it's a fun week for everybody. But our players and our coaches have to stay focused on the job at hand. I mean, the task at hand, I should say.
How much motivation do you draw on from last year's game?
What's that?
How much motivation do you draw on from last year's game?
I mean, not really any. I just don't think that really factors in much with players. I think that this year, this team is different than last year and the team that was here last year. And the players should have enough motivation for 2 reasons. One, for a chance to be a conference champion, and 2, because that's their responsibility every game we play. They should do everything they can to win.
Mike, it's been now 10 days since you lost. No way to know, but gauging, you think you guys have put that game behind them pretty well?
I don't think there's any question that they understand the importance of moving forward, and we have to do that on every game. I think the greatest challenge in college football now is being able to keep your team focused, and that's why we talk a lot about focused and preparation. And so I think they're in, I mentioned earlier in my opening remarks that I think they're in a good frame of mind. I think they're excited about playing in the game, and they're practicing well. And there was energy on the field yesterday. I think that's a great sign.
Last year you played with Blackman and Weeden hobbled, and then this year it's OU with Lewis questionable, Royals out, that comes in. I mean, from their perspective, how disappointing is that to come into a game where you have your best players at either not playing or at not full percent, when it's possibly the biggest in-state game of the year, and at the end of the season you want to finish on a good note?
I can't comment on what their camp feels like. I mean, it's hard for me to say how they feel about those players not being there. I'm sure that they'd like to have all their good players. Anytime you lose a really good player, it's disappointing, but I can't comment on how they would feel.
How was it for you guys last year then? Like you're competing right there with them, but then you guys have possibly your best player on offense. He sprains his ankle second quarter, then you have Blackman wearing a boot all week. I mean, was that a little disappointing knowing that you were that close with those factors, or were you surprised how well they played, or?
Well, it's always disappointing if you have good players that can't compete in a game. And so when you play a game that's important, you want to have your best players out there because they've worked at it. They've been here for, I added up the other day, Blackman's been here like 1,294 days. And to give you an example of a guy that's been here a long time, and so you'd like for them to be able to play in those games.
Coach, how big of a rivalry is this within the Gundy family of bragging rights with Weeden's brother?
It doesn't factor in. I mean, we haven't talked about it. We just don't talk about those things. This game is about the players. I'm sure Coach Stoops probably feels the same way. There's a lot tied in the state and the coaches and different things that don't factor in as much to me or to our staff. This is about the players and what they've been able to accomplish and have an opportunity to play for the championship.
Coach, normally during a bye week, you guys get to go out and watch some high school football. This week, because of Thanksgiving and everything, was the recruiting different or not at all?
No, we had guys that went out and recruited. It was a little different, obviously, because of the holiday, but we still had guys that were on the road recruiting.
Mike, if you win this game, you win the title, Big 12 title outright. If you lose, it's a 2- or 3-way tie. Coach Stoops subscribes to the kind of the Highlander theory. There can be only one. What do you think as far as if you lose this game? Do you still claim?
Honestly, you have to tell me what Highlander theory means. I mean, just so I'll know. I either want to agree or disagree.
This guy goes and cuts people. You have to cut people's heads off. At the end, there's only one guy remaining.
Okay. Okay.
So can there only be?
You've been watching Clint Eastwood movies late at night. So,
Can
okay.
there be only one this time, or if y'all lose 2- or 3-way tie, will you still claim, the Big 12 title?
I think you have one champion. We have a round-robin format, and everybody has competed against each other. And I tend to agree with that. I would hope you wouldn't use me in the Highlander theory comment, but I kind of tend to agree with that. And everybody's going to have their opinion, but if you end up with one team with one loss, or 3 teams with 2 losses, and so when we start out each year, you guys have heard me say this, our goal is to win a conference championship and hope that we have an opportunity to play for a national championship. We want to achieve a conference championship first, okay? And then after that, we want to try to win every game we play in and compete. And our goal was to elevate Oklahoma State football to where people wanted to watch Oklahoma State football and they were excited about it. And the fans knew that when we went in the stadiums on Saturday, home or away, that if we played well, we had a chance to win the game. And that's what our goal is this Saturday. There just happens to be more things on the line. And so, we have to keep it in perspective. We do. You guys don't. We do. So our players understand the importance of the preparation and going out and playing hard. It is a very important game. Our players are excited about it. Our coaches are excited about it. But we still have to prepare and do the things to give them the best chance to win on Saturday night.
How does OU look to you on film? They've lost a couple games that surprised some people, especially that Tech game. What have you seen from them on?
Well, they're still athletic. They're good up front on defense and linebacker play. They tackled. I'm guessing that they probably didn't feel as good about that game as what they would have wanted to. Just like we didn't feel as good about the way we played at Iowa State as we'd have wanted to. But they have an experienced quarterback. They've got receivers making plays. Their running back's running good. The tight end's a good player. They're using the other quarterback, the big guy, which that package has continued to grow every week. They seems like that they like that more and more. They take Landry out when they get down in there on the goal line, and they obviously feel more comfortable with the big guy in there and in the short yardage. And each week they've that package has grown. You see a little bit of option, you see a little speed sweep, you see a little play pass. So you're talking about a good football team. And I don't really know what else that a guy would say about them other than they still have an opportunity and are good enough to move the ball and score points, and they've stopped people.
Is Joe Randall on a short lease this week
Joe Randall?
for the fumbling?
No. Joe needs to go play. We've had that conversation, and we have a lot of confidence in Joe. He needs to get out there and go play the game, and he's put the ball on the ground more than what we would have wanted him to in the last few games. But he's still a young player. He's a sophomore, and we have confidence in him. We're going to put him in and expect him to make plays.
When I told you a couple weeks ago what Thurman said about it's time for you to beat OU, you didn't seem to really appreciate that. Do you really feel the pressure more in this game than ever, and are you unfairly judged if you lose it?
Well, I don't feel any different pressure now than I ever have. I may see things differently than other people do. I may see things differently than the public and other coaches. And everybody has an opinion, but I'm interested in developing these guys. I feel responsible that when they leave this program that they have to be able to, hopefully we've helped them better their lives where they can get up, get out of bed, got an education. We've instilled some values and principles in them first. Then we want to play really good football. We want to win a Big 12 championship. So everybody's going to have an opinion of what's right and wrong. And when you had mentioned that to me, I didn't really express what word you use? Disgust?
No, I thought you didn't appreciate it.
Oh, well,
Thurman never beat him. That's what you said to me.
Yeah, you should have asked him how many times he beat him. But the point being, Nebraska, you can throw them in there too. But unfortunately, I was on those three teams. So, it's kind of like, your mom did this or your dad did that, and then you go down the street and it's like, it's the same thing at home. That doesn't work very good. But everybody has an opinion. And Thurman was a great player here, and Thurman is a great guy, and I have a lot of respect for him. But the way I see Oklahoma State football and the real supporters and people that care about Oklahoma State University and the football program is I don't believe in saying anything that could detract or take away from positive and be a really good influence on the program. So I wasn't really disgusted. I mean, there's a lot of people say things about me a lot worse than that. But, whenever people ask me about Thurman Thomas or Oklahoma State football, I'm positive in some way, shape, or form. And so I would only hope that people that other fans or coaches or players or recruits would listen to would be the same way. But I don't have a problem with him expressing his opinion. That's okay.
Is he coming, do you know?
There's a lot of them coming. I don't know that he's here. I think he lives in Buffalo now. So he may be snowed in. I don't know.
Brandon Weeden's last home game on Saturday. Can you just talk about how special of a career he's having?
Yeah, it's been a great run with him. It was interesting. I heard I was listening to Todd Monken talk in the locker room yesterday after practice, and he said it's ironic, or it's not ironic, but it's different in the NFL that when you get a player like a Peyton Manning or the guy that plays for Green Bay or whoever, in the NFL you're fired up because you keep those guys forever. They don't graduate. And so you look back at Weeden and you would like to be in a situation where you can keep a guy like that forever because our team's kind of just grabbed onto him. We've had other guys lead, but obviously he's been very good. So he's going to go down as one of the best to ever play here. But he's worked hard and he's earned it. And we're excited about his future. I think he'll play this game for quite a while after this season.
Third down last season, you forced a lot of third downs, but they converted about 50%, a little over that. Is it key? Is that the linemen, or do you think the coverage? What can you guys adjust to prevent them converting so much on third down?
Oh, I don't think it's different. It's any different than any other down. I think you have to mix up your zones, your zone coverages, your man, and got to have some blitz, got to have some drop, and just kind of try to keep them off balance. I think you have two good quarterbacks that if they get in a rhythm, they're difficult to stop.
Like Coach Stoops has said, this is going back to your family type situation. Coach Stoops has said repeatedly he doesn't like coaching against Mike or Mark. Your feelings, does it bother you?
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of times I forget he's over there. When you get into a game, sometimes there'll be a play go out of bounds over there, and I'll look and I'll see him, and I'll, what's he doing over there? I kind of forget that he's over there because I'm coaching the game, and you don't really pay much attention to it. And so we've done a really good job, or I've done a really good job. I don't know if he has, but of keeping that part of it out. It's a very, very difficult day on our family. We have a sister, and she's got girls, and obviously mother and father, and so it's an extremely difficult day for all of them. But it doesn't really affect Cale and I as much as it does everybody else. It never has. I mean, we know it's a job, it's a game, and he's trying to win, and I'm trying to win, and afterwards we can go on down the road.
Which side does the family sit on? They come to the game?
They don't come to the game. They don't come to the game. Now, they may show up and be sitting over there, and I don't know it. They tell me they don't come to the game. So
Your dad doesn't come to the game?
most of the time he doesn't. I know my mom's never come to the game. I don't think my dad came last year. I know there's a bunch of games that neither one of them come to. He probably, honestly, he probably works. He'll work during the day. But we don't really talk about it very much. But I know she doesn't come to the games.
That good?
Good.
Percentage chance you'll rent the movie Highlander?
Who stars in that? Anybody know?
Damon?
Huh? Nobody knows?
Tall dude right now.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.